This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you guys. How's it going everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be returning to r/TrueOffMyChest, subreddit dedicated to people just telling stories that they really needed to get off their chest. And oh boy, do we have some great ones today. Very quickly before we begin, I just wanted to mention that YouTube members and patrons, you guys get an extra video every single week for as low as £1 a month. That equates to about 25p per video. So if that is something that interests you, please do consider joining, as it really helps support the channel, like a lot. So help me pay rent and help me keep making these videos. Let's get into the video, shall we? I'm forcing my boss to arrive at the office every day at 7 AM. I just started a new job and decided I wanted to make a good impression by being in the office a little early. Also, so the manager cannot see if I'm here for 5 minutes or if I was already here for an hour. So nobody questions me if I leave early. So I started coming in between 8 and 8:15. The first day I noticed I was the first, but the rest of the week my boss would already be here at 8. Apparently he is an early bird as well. So the next week I arrive at 7:30. Again, I'm the first one on the first day, but the rest of the week that guy is already in office before I arrive. I am truly wondering now at what time this guy goes to work. So last week I arrive at 7 on Monday, and the same thing happened. Tuesday, that guy was already sitting at his desk when I arrived. So yesterday I asked him, "What time do you usually arrive at work, since you are here extremely early?" And he confessed that the director demands all managers to arrive before the first staff member arrives, and leave only after the last staff member leaves. So me trying to beat him to the office was forcing him to get out of bed 1.5 hours early to be at the office at the ass crack of dawn, while still having to work until the last team member leaves around 5:30 PM. Anyway, tomorrow I will be at the office at 8:30 sharp then. Man, that's... I gotta say though, what the f***, OP? Why are you willingly going to work like over an hour and a half earlier than you need to be? That's, huh? What? Huh? Nah, no, messed up. It wouldn't be me. But I really loved one of the comments, which was, "I hope you told him you'd be in the office at 8:30 AM. I can only imagine how he'd feel if he was in the office at 7, only to not have anyone turn up for 1.5 hours. Thanks for the reminder. I just told him." This dude would have turned up at before 7 to be OP there, would have turned up and then would have had to stay there until 5:30. Oh, that would have been rough. That would have been so rough. Thank God OP told him though. So this one's wild. It's wild. My fiance tried to get revenge on her childhood bully, and it turned our lives upside down. I lost all respect for her, and I think we are done. I am a grown woman in my 30s, who is currently engaged to another grown woman in her 30s. I am using a throwaway because of how ridiculous this whole situation is. I'm both furious at my fiance and disgusted with her. I doubt our relationship will survive this, and I have already been looking into new living arrangements. My fiance, Ella, and I have been together for 5 years. We both struggled growing up as queer kids, her more than me. Ella identifies as butch and has since she was a tomboy. Last year she started going to a therapist she found through an anxiety support group on this site. That was the worst decision I have seen someone make. Her therapist did nothing but tell her she was right and everyone was wrong. Ella brought up being teased in school, and her therapist thought that was the root cause of her anxiety. Ella started talking about the girl, Bev, who she decided was the cause of her mental illness. Bev apparently used to call her a pig for belching in the lunchroom in middle school. My fiance said she used to use gross out humor, and her male friends encouraged it. I told her it sounded like they were the bullies, but she shut it down. Her middle school years were rough because she was the gross and dirty girl nobody liked. What she went through was awful, but she decided Bev, a girl she hasn't seen in decades, was the cause, just because she was the first to call her out. Ella has ADHD and is a major people pleaser, so I can see how she would act like that to impress her friends without catching on with how nasty it was. For the past few months, she's been telling me that she wants to confront Bev for her part in the drama. I told her it was ridiculous, but her joke of a therapist agreed with her. Weeks ago, I found out that she had found Bev on Facebook, now married with a life, and Ella has been stalking her. She calls her workplace to tell them they hired a sociopath, called the police to make sure her kids weren't being abused, made insane posts under a burner account, and left reviews under her job's Google reviews about her. her victim finally pressed charges because Ella decided to confront her at her job and record it. Guess what? My fiance got arrested and has harassment charges since she has been proud of what she's been doing. She posts on Reddit about getting pro-revenge, and the younger people encourage this bullshit. Ella's online behavior became public, and she lost her job because of it since she works with kids. She insists that her behavior is due to her PTSD that her joke of a therapist suggested she has. I can't take this, and I left to live with my family. I never imagined her doing anything like this. She is obsessed with fake pro-revenge stories and seems to think she's the hero in this. I reached out to Bev to apologize, and the woman begged to be left alone. She apologized for calling her gross in 6th grade, and I said she doesn't deserve it. Ella is mad because I told her I probably would have acted the same at that age when some kid was belching and making fart noises all day. This whole situation is ridiculous, and my fiance is acting like a trauma victim. She is ill, alright, just not the way I believed she was. Nobody is on her side besides her online enablers. I have never been part of something so ridiculous, and I think I'm going to cut my losses. Oh boy, that's there's so much going on here. But you know what? It sounds like her therapist is ChatGPT. In all honesty, if her therapist isn't ChatGPT, her, and I say this, therapist is probably using ChatGPT, because nothing will enable mentally ill people to continue their behavior more than ChatGPT, right? And the fact that people do actually use that as a therapy service is scary. There's a reason that the term AI psychosis has been going around lately, and unfortunately it's a real thing that has been happening. But yeah, no, this is someone that isn't mentally stable, and OP, you probably should get out of there for your own sake, but be careful that she doesn't turn her pro-revenge on you and start asking her therapist about whether she should confront and get revenge for you. But overall, thinking that she's in the right for stalking someone and harassing them and their children, especially someone like, she's someone who works with kids. So being someone who works with kids and then still harassing someone and their children, she shouldn't be working with kids. 100% her losing her job is the right move here, because she is not a stable person who should be looking after kids, right? Oh my god. I have ADHD. I don't do this. I'm not a crazy person that stalks people and harasses them. That's... I helped a lady at the gym gain confidence, and it resulted in her getting a divorce. So over the past few months, I have been doing a specific Pilates class 3 times a week. In this class, I met a lady who first showed up real timid, kind of shy, and dressed in lots of layers, and almost tried to purposefully stay covered. Nothing wrong with this, but in a high intensity class, that is tough. Over time, I'd gradually say hi to her, work out side by side, and as the weeks went on, I began to learn more about her. Turns out she was a married woman with 3 kids, and her husband was a stay-at-home gamer. He brought in no income and apparently always told her that her clothes were getting tight and that she should consider hitting the gym more often. And I never tried to dig into it, but she vented about it all the time. As time went on, she began to come into class with a smile on her face. She started dressing more confidently, and you could just tell that she was starting to find herself, and it was so nice to see. Well, last week she came in and we did class and all that, went well, and afterwards she said, "Hey, so I did something crazy." And when I asked her what she did, she said, "I finally decided to leave him. I wanted to thank you for helping me find myself again and being kind to me. It helped me learn my worth and gave me the courage to stand up for myself and take care of me for a change." And honestly, I didn't realize I made such an impact, which on one side is beautiful, but on the other side, I feel like I caused a divorce. But at the same time, it's more so her husband that caused the divorce. I just like to think I helped someone understand their true worth. Honestly, this was a divorce that was bound to happen in the end anyway. Like, if her husband is not working, but like is unwilling to work and stays home and plays games all day and doesn't even like look for work, you know, isn't even trying to find work, and then has the audacity to tell her that, oh, you're getting fat, you're putting on weight, you need to hit the gym, when he's not working and is staying at home all day, bringing in no income and like not exercising, not working, not trying to work or anything. Like, yeah, it's a divorce that was bound to happen, right? So here's the thing. I currently don't have a job. I don't stay at home and game all day, and I do arguably work on YouTube, you know, 5 days a week, which brings in some income, but it doesn't bring in enough to survive. But I am looking for work, right? I am putting in an active effort to find work. I have an interview coming up, in fact, and have had interviews, and unfortunately just had stuff fall through in the past, and circumstances have screwed me. But I am trying to find work. So while I'm not bringing in a huge income outside of YouTube, I am trying. But I would not have the audacity, no matter who my partner is, if they're the only person working, and even if they're not the only person working, I just would never have the audacity to comment on my partner's weight or insinuate that they are putting on weight and need to go to the gym. Like, no matter who you are or what your position is, whether you are working or not, that's not something you say to your partner. Like, that's not, no. This guy deserves to be divorced purely on that fact. The fact that he's refusing to work and like putting in no effort to get a job or anything on top of that kind of just adds to that, you know? I pooped on the floor. I'm at my boyfriend's house. Everyone is asleep and my boyfriend and I were hungry, so we went downstairs to get some food. I threw on an old baggy t-shirt of his and an old pair of his boxers that had a hole in them. We went into the kitchen and we decided that we wanted pasta. I opened the door to the pantry and reached up for the pasta on the shelf. As I was reaching, I felt the need to let out a sneaky fart. It was silent and I got away with it. I then got bolder and let out another fart, but this time I heard a splat. I looked down at the floor and to my sheer horror and disbelief, there was a puddle of shit on the floor. I was in pure shock. I looked to my boyfriend who was equally as horrified and we didn't know what to do. I looked at him and to the floor and back to him and asked if I really just shit myself. We both burst out laughing. But really for me, it was a mixture of crying and laughing. I am absolutely horrified. How will this man ever look at me the same again? He had to bring me a new pair of shorts and I had to scrub my shit off his kitchen floor. He is asleep beside me right now. How will I face this man tomorrow? Send help. And there was a little bit extra that I wanted to add where someone said, always blame the dog. And they said, he saw. Can you imagine me blaming the dog after he saw the shit literally hit the floor? Which I think would be fucking hilarious, honestly. But I also love that OP is posting this from throwaway poop 456. They made a throwaway account called throwaway poop to post this story. But honestly, OP, they're saying, you know, that like, how will I face this man tomorrow? Send help and stuff like that. But the very fact that rather than kicking you out or being disgusted or being horrified, he went and got you a new pair of shorts to change into, and you're still sleeping beside him, you're still sharing a bed, you're still together, implies to me that this isn't something that bothers him a huge amount. This might become a running joke in your relationship. He might bring this up and he might tease you about it. But at the end of the day, the fact that he hasn't been horrified and he hasn't been tried to get rid of you because he's disgusted shows that this isn't something that's ruining the relationship for him. And honestly, in relationships, no pun intended, shit happens. Like when me and Leo started dating, Leo came and stayed around my parents' house, and the first 2 times that Leo came and stayed around my house, I threw up, and I threw up violently. And Leo literally has a phobia of vomit. So like when you know, this was something that wasn't a deal breaker. And my God, I have to give it to Leo for sticking with me when 2 times, 2 weeks in a row, I threw up when he was staying over. I am so sorry. We learned after that I in fact had I still have a hiatal hernia, and I'm now on medication to control it because for a long time I've been getting really bad heartburn, and depending on what I eat when I get up and how I sleep, the heartburn would be worse. Genuinely, if I slept on my left side, no heartburn. Slept on my right side, really bad heartburn. That's the level it was at. I would wake up in the middle of the night choking on bile, which you can die from. So I went to the doctor with encouragement from Leo and found out, yeah, I have a hiatal hernia, which means the lining of my stomach is pushing itself up through my esophagus, which isn't great. I'm on medication which controls the heartburn and prevents it, and like I haven't had this issue since. But my God, Leo stuck with me. We found out I think I'm allergic to Rennies, which are meant to control heartburn, because both of the times I threw up, it was after having taken Rennie. Never taken Rennies again. Don't have the issue with Gaviscon, but Rennies would cause me to throw up, and they've caused me to throw up 2 out of 2 times that I took them. So, but yeah, so that's kind of my equivalent of the story. My husband just confessed to lying to me for 2 years. I was diagnosed with stage 3 kidney cancer. I had a major surgery to remove the tumor and my kidney. My husband took a leave of absence from work to help me through my difficult recovery. During that time, he spent a lot of money on medical aids to help keep me comfortable at home. Special shower chair, rolling table so I didn't have to leave the recliner, fancy heating pads, etc. A few months later, we took in an 18-year-old girl from our church congregation who had left home because of an abusive situation, but ended up couch hopping with people she barely knew. I had been her youth leader, and I was worried she was going to end up in an SA situation. So we offered her our spare bedroom rent-free. She had some medical issues that kept her from getting a steady job, while she figured out what she was going to do next. During the 3 months she stayed with us, a lot of small things went missing. Some were items I lent to her, and some were items that just mysteriously disappeared. We were able to arrange for her to move in with an older sister in another state who had a positive relationship with. We helped her get packed and got her on a plane, but there were a lot of things she left behind that she just didn't want or need. I started going through her room to clear everything out and hopefully find the missing items. I didn't find anything that had gone missing except for the fancy heating pad that my husband had bought me during my surgery recovery. I found it in the bottom of a box of her stuff that she did we could just throw out, and I was so happy that it wasn't gone. That was 2 years ago. I'm currently pregnant with our 4th child and my back has been killing me, so I pulled out the heating pad and have been using it regularly. Today I mentioned to my husband how glad I am that he bought me the heating pad and what a huge help it's been. He got really quiet and then confessed to me that he's been lying for 2 years. He said we never found the original heating pad. He just felt terrible that my heating pad was gone, and he didn't want me to think poorly of the girl we had helped out. So he bought a new heating pad, opened it, and stuffed it in the bottom of a box of things she left behind. He knew I would go through it and find it. When he told me he had been lying for the last 2 years, I was bracing myself for a terrible confession. But no, he just felt bad that I still thought it was the original and that he'd snuck behind my back to replace it. He said he feels better now that he doesn't have to hide it anymore, and I'm just feeling spoiled at having such a wholesome hubby. I was expecting the worst. The title is "My husband just confessed to lying to me for 2 years," and the second paragraph opens with "A few months later we took in an 18-year-old girl." This was like a doomed post. There was oh my god, I had all of the worst expectations. I thought this was going to be horrific. I thought this was going to be terrible. I am so glad that I ended this on a wholesome one. Holy. But that is where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to help me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. But a huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me. All of your names are up on screen right now. It genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much. So thank you to everybody that does. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.